Hi everyone, I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to all of you. You all can, quickly do a mic check and video check. And we are live now, actually. Yes. So yes, hi everyone. Hello, beautiful people. I hope everyone is doing good. Everyone is doing well. Would like to welcome all of you to the day one of Misfits Mega Pitch event. We have successfully covered 12 regions and have got our top 30 startups in the 2021 cohort. Welcome all of you. We started we started the Misfits cohort with the aim to find the most impactful change makers across South Asia. And it's an initiative by Vruksh Ecosystem Foundation. And we thank Man Impact to be the global co-host, Will Grow to be the knowledge partner for this event. And the event was powered by eCell, Ion, Trichy, Crowdera, and Impact Pod. As I said, Misfits is an initiative by Vruksh Ecosystem Foundation. So talking about Vruksh, basically Vruksh is an innovation think tank building a cohesive innovation, incubation, mentoring, maker and entrepreneurship ecosystem. And we work with startups, we help them scale up, and we always believe that it's not about ideas, it's about making ideas happen. And that's why we aim to build this ecosystem for entrepreneurs, for startups. And that is why we started this particular cohort, the Misfits community and the pitch events. Going forward, talking more about Misfits particularly, as you all are already aware that Misfits is a virtual pitch event happening across various regions of Southeast Asian countries. And we are doing this to create a common platform, to create a common ecosystem, to provide a common stage to all the social impact change makers. And we always say that it's not just another pitch event. We are ensuring that a proper community should be there, which is even after the event gets over, the proper community engagement should be there. These are the focus regions. Like these regions we have covered, the 12 regions, the pitch events that we covered in these 12 regions. These are the global partners, and we had some regional partners as well. In total, we were supported by 80 plus partnerships. I would like to show a token of thanks to all of them. Then yes, so this is all about Misfits and Vruksh. Moving ahead with our today's workshop on how to master your startup pitch, I would request my colleague Apurva to come and take over from here. Apurva, over to you.
Hello everyone.
I hope Smile has joined.
Yes, he has joined.
Yeah, I have joined, but there is some Wi-Fi glitch at my place. So I just joined my mobile phone, and I'm trying to log in from my laptop. You make a couple of minutes.
Sure. Okay. Apurva, let's wait for a few minutes. Meanwhile, these startups, all the participants, I would request all of you to please, be interactive, ask questions. First, like when Ismail would be taking your session, please drop your questions in the chat section. If you want to speak up, if you want to share your insights, raise your hands, we'll unmute you. Please, like, try to be interactive today. And after this particular workshop, we have this panel discussion on let me check the topic as well.
State of social entrepreneurship.
Yes, state of social entrepreneurship, and Jatin Chaudhary, Bhanu, and Anand would be joining us. So please stay tuned. And then, you all are already aware that from day 2, that is 20th November, we'll be starting the pitch events. Yeah. So, and just waiting for Smile. Mr. Ismail, are you there?
Yes, I am. We just had the power back. I'm just trying to log in.
Sure.
So it's raining out of nowhere actually today.
Oh.
Just because I don't know, some issue. Okay.
So other participants are joining us, and I would again, so Aditi has joined. Hi, Aditi.
Hi, Anupam. Hi.
Yes. So we have started. I have just covered the introduction part for Misfits and Vruksh ecosystem. And now we are heading towards this workshop on how to master your startup pitch. Yes. So this time it will strictly be 3 minutes, 3 minutes to pitch. And I know you all have a lot of questions in your mind. What should we cover, or what should we, leave behind in these 3 minutes? So Smile is there.
Have you also sent me the link via email?
I'm not sure. Shall I send again?
Yeah, no, I'll do connect because I have it on WhatsApp, but I'll confirm. I'll let you connect it through my WhatsApp web then. Yeah, I got it. Anyways, I'm getting it.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, sorry, I was in there. Yes, I'm finally connected to my laptop. We can.
Okay, great. Apurva, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Apurva Agre from Team Rich. Now let us move ahead to the open pitch workshop on how to master your startup pitch. And I would like to invite Mr. Ismail Akbani. He'll facilitate this workshop. Mr. Ismail Akbani is currently associated with Symbiosis Center of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, a technology business incubator supported by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, as head incubation and linkages. He is also mentor of change for Atal Innovation Mission, Government of India, and Design Innovation Center under Niti Aayog at Gujarat Technical University. Welcome on the behalf of Team Misfits, sir. Welcome to all the participating startups. Let us try to keep this session a little interactive by writing down all your doubts and comments in the chat section. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Apurva and Anupam. And Abhijit is not here, but I've known him for quite a while, and you guys have been doing some amazing work for the past few years that I've been connected. Just let me. It's always, I'm always happy to be on this platform of Vruksh and Misfits, whatever good work you guys are doing. So, and again, congratulations, by the way, for taking it to yet another level. I wanted to put that background, but for some reason, my laptop is not allowing me. Without a green screen, does not put that background. So I'm sorry, I cannot do that. And welcome to all those participants. I congratulate all. Let me start congratulating everybody because you made it to a level where coming out after so many regional events and competing with so many ideas, and then finally reaching this level. Oh, yeah. And today's topic is a bit challenging for me also. It's not as challenging for me as it's going to be for you, because usually when we talk about pitches, 10 to 15 minutes. And then for a 15 minutes pitch talk, I talk for 1 hour. How do you get a 15-minute pitch, right? So now today I have to talk about how do you get 3-minute pitch. So I should not be talking for more than 10 minutes, right? Because if I'm talking for more than 10 minutes, then it's no point. And that's a challenge for me. And that's one of the reasons I have actually declined one of the TEDx offers as well, because TEDx they say you have to speak in 18 minutes. I say I can't do that, sorry. But I'm going to try and keep it very brief and short. But of course, we will go through details. So I have certain slides, and though I'm going to be showing more slides. So what I've decided today is not to have a little bit different approach. Normally, what I do is when I do a pitch presentation, which is for a standard 10-15 minutes pitch, I have standard pitch deck template as well, so that I've created. And then I go to every slide, what is the slide we should be having, and then we discuss every slide by slide. So I have as many slides as I want in the pitch deck, so 10 to 12 slides. Today, rather than giving a standard template of the pitch deck, what I've decided is I put up my own different kind of presentation, where I'm going to take you through what should be the 3-minute pitch, and then it's up to you. So I will leave it up to you to decide the number of slides that you want, because it's already a challenge, and we're going to look at it from a very different lens of rather than pitching. Right? In fact, I call this session. I used to call this session as a not so subtle art of pitching, right? And today is actually going to be not so subtle art, because one word I put a post on Instagram as well, that what is that one word that you would replace the word pitching with? If I had to ask you, so if we can just see in the chat box how many of you are active. If you had to define pitching instead of startup pitch in one word, what would that word be? Can anybody answer that in the chat box? So you can unmute also. Pitching is selling. Okay, interesting. What else? Simran got it at so bang on point, right? So pitching today, we are going to talk about in 2 minutes. So it is all about storytelling, right? How do you tell stories, and how do you actually convey? Because they say that facts tell, stories sell. Right? And when you're pitching, you're in a way marketing also about your product. And there's a book by this marketing guru called Seth Godin, who says that the book is titled that all marketers are storytellers. Right? So we're going to look at pitching from that perspective, but still I'm going to present certain slides. These slides are not supposed to be in that order. And one more point, I know while I was just trying to log into the laptop, I think Anupam was saying that feel free to ask questions. So that's what I want. And also feel free to share your insights, because you guys must have pitched at a lot of events. You might also had a lot of experience from the investors or the panelists, right? If you have a certain point that has worked for you, that you feel you want to share, feel free to share. So this is a platform where it's not only that I'm going to speak and you learn from me. We're going to learn from each other. And whatever I'm going to be speaking today, though the words are mine, the slides are mine, but over past 7-8 years, I have been in the jury panel as a jury member, as a judge for more than 50 events across the country, even internationally as well. These past 2 years, thanks to the online world. Right, so I've been to those events at national, international level, evaluating so many startup pitches along with, and when you're sitting in that startup pitch event, you have a panel of 4 or 5. Sometimes at IIT Bombay, there was a panel of 10 jury members. Some of them are investors, some of them are serial entrepreneurs and people who are veteran in the domain. And when I go there as a jury, my focus is less on evaluating the startups, more on what kind of questions these people are asking, right? And what kind of a counter questions they are asking, what points they are digging in, what is that they are expecting. And then at the end, when we're deciding the winners and all, after the event, we have a discussion among all the jury panel. So then again, there's a feedback. People casually share what are the pain points, what are the points in the pitch in general that frustrates them as an investor. What are the things that they like? So these are the insights that I have picked up over past few years with all more than 50 events where I have been. And those are the insights that I'm going to try to share today with you in my own words, right? So, and again, I've seen that a lot of times there is a contradiction between the insights or the requirements of the investor as well. So in one of the pitch events, there's an investor who says, I want to see the finance slide first. And there's another investor who says, I don't care about the finance. If I like the idea and if you can justify the cost, finance can be taken care of. So there are contradictory thoughts, contradictory school of thoughts also on a lot of slides. So go with what you can justify. Right? So if I might end up sharing something and you might feel, okay, this is good, but probably this does not work with my idea, that's fine. The reason I'm telling this is because I gave a similar talk last year at IIT Bombay's It's a social startup competition across, and they had a similar talk for their finalists. And then I shared a couple of points, and somebody called me up and said, I tried to put this in my slide. You mentioned this point, but it's spoiling the flow of my entire slideshow. What do I do? I said, don't put that. Right? What I'm saying going to say is not a gospel, or is not something coming from Ramayana or Gita or Bible, right? It's not a religious doctrine that you have to follow, word by word. These are just the guidelines. Feel free to tailor them, customize them based on what suits your pitch, what suits your startup idea, what suits your personality as well. Right? So with that, let me go back to sharing my presentation quickly. Where's my presentation? And we'll quickly run through the slides first, and then of course we'll have some question answers and doubt session as well. You can share the screen, right? I guess. Yeah. I hope this it's visible.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Cool. So I wanted to look at the cover of my slide. So there also, of course, there was something written below the shoulder, but I just deleted it 10 minutes ago for some reason, I don't know. But otherwise, there was some content written over there also. But the reason I wanted to focus on the cover as well, because we'll talk about that. So what is, just a quick recap, because some of you might be in the ecosystem, some of you might have made a lot of pitches given the presentations, or some of you probably it's the first event you're participating, and you have already want to come to this level, right? So the pitch deck to me is your first prototype, right? So normally people take the pitch deck as a presentation. It's not a presentation, it's the first prototype of your startup, right? And if you are an early stage pre-seed startup, your pitch deck is literally your startup. You have nothing to show if you don't have a hardware prototype as of now, if you're not developed the website, if you're not created the app right now. And so what's the tangible? That's the only thing tangible about your startup is your pitch deck as of now. The reason I put this in the beginning of my talk is to just highlight the importance that the amount of time, amount of thought process, amount of discussions, amount of deliberation, amount of effort that should go in creating the pitch deck, right? Because right now you don't have a product. So if you had a product, the amount of effort and time you would have spent in that product, that is the amount of efforts. If not that, at least 50% of that is what I expect that you invest in creating your pitch deck, right? And when I say creating your pitch deck, right from deciding what point goes into the pitch deck, how the slides look, what's the color combination, what's the background, what is the theme I use. And unfortunately, I've seen, again, so many events I've attended, at least 30%, right? If not more, at least 30% of the pitches that come, the very first two slides, the way they look, I'm cut off. As a jury member, after two slides, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not interested. Let them go for next 10 minutes. I'm back to my WhatsApp again. That's going to happen with you as well. Right? Because, and especially in the online world, when you're going to present, there are going to be people like me who are going to be reality. Their WhatsApp, see my WhatsApp is not continuously going. Their WhatsApp is going to ping in, their emails are going to come. They have much more important things to attend to than just sitting over here and evaluating it, right? And the moment your slide looks dull, all white background, only black text, there's no images, the font size is the all conventional fonts, and there's no consistency, right? You'll see inconsistency in my slides as well. That's for a reason, by the way. But so that's very important. Right? So and you could make it out that they in an hour or so they are just put together something like you're doing a college assignment, or you would do for some presentation in the college. Doesn't work here. So make sure that you put in that effort. Go and put efforts in every final details of the page. The second important aspect here is what are the three I call I like this term Three Musketeers since I heard it for the first time in the movie. What was the movie? The Slumdog Millionaire, right? And then I went out and found out and watched those movies as well. So basically, these are the three pillars of a strong pitch, or three levels of a pitch, I would say, right? At the basic level is understanding. So what are the three goals of a pitch? The first goal of a pitch when you make a pitch to an investor or to a jury panel is to help them understand, right? To help them understand where you come from, to help them understand the problem you're solving, to help them understand the solution, to help them understand your business model, right? That is the first basic purpose of a pitch. And most of the presentations that happen, they cover this, right? There have been 5 to 10% pitches that I heard, they failed even to do this. But almost 80-90% of the entrepreneurs, when they come and present, they manage to do this first level very well. But that's not enough. Problem is just making the jury member or making the investor understand your idea, your problem is not enough. This is next level to it, and that's clear. You have to make them to care about your product or service. Right? The jury panel, the investor needs to be made to care about the problem you are solving, need to be care about the people you are trying to help, care about the solution that you are talking about. Because if they don't care, right? Trust me, after a while they'll lose contact. Because I'm a nobody when I say I've attended more than 50 presentations. An average investor, right, attends more than 50 pitches in a year probably. Right? So to them, when you are present, there is high chance that that investor, that jury member, has attended and listened to a similar idea being pitched somewhere in the past. It might be a little bit here and there different, or at least the same problem being solved in some other way. Right? So 70-80% of the time, the problem that you're solving, somebody has pitched it, and that very jury member has been in that panel as well. So understanding is not enough to keep them interested in listening to your pitch. You have to make them care, and very few startups actually reach that level. Hardly 40-50% of the people are able to use their pitch as a medium to make me as a jury member care in the product. I'm like, okay, so what? You want to solve a problem for dogs? So what? I don't have a pet. Why do you care? How do I care? And a third, and that's the ultimate goal, is that you want that person to take an action. Now the action could be different. And the action, if it's an investor pitch, the action could be, you want them to consider investing. Of course, you don't expect them that they would stand up and write a check to you on the spot. Right? The action could be at least that investor has to give his visiting card and say, hey, send me a pitch deck and let's see. I'll pass it on to my team and we'll do some due diligence and let's see what happens. Right? Action could be say, okay, I don't invest it, but I have got a friend who probably works in a similar domain. I can connect to you to him and probably he might be interested. Right? Here's my card. Just give me a call or an email and I'll connect with him. Right? And there's a lot of other actions as well. We'll talk towards the end. There's a slide that I'm going to talk about. But ultimately, that is the aim. Or action could be simply, if you are presenting an event like this, for example, action could be simply you want that jury member to give you full marks. Right? When I'm giving the marks, if you don't know, not 9, 10, I want to do this guy, not 9, but 10 on 10. That's the action you want me to take. And only 10-15% pitches succeed to reach that level. And those are the pitches that end up winning the competition. As simple as that. Right? And I'll tell you one more thing. A lot of times it so happens that the winning team is actually not the best amongst all those who presented. A lot of times there are teams that are better. They had a better problem they were solving. They had a better product. They had a better business model. Yet they did not win because somewhere in this ladder from understand to care to action, right? They understand, help us understand the problem solution very well. Amazing problem, lot of future potential. And to the audience also, it feels why did this team not win, right? And if you are to ask me as a jury, I would say they failed to make me care, and they failed to make me take that action. That was their responsibility. It's not my responsibility to give them full marks. It's not my responsibility to come and say, hey, I want to help you. It's their responsibility in the pitch to make me want to help them. Right? So with that, let's move on to the, what should you do in the now 3 minutes? So if it was a 10 minutes, of course, I would have talked about 12 to 15 slides, but then I removed some of the slides because you just have 3 minutes to present. What should your 3-minute pitch and your presentation consist of? So I'm going to be talking about from both the contents of the deck, what do you put on the slides, and also how do you present, right? And some part we're going to talk in parallel, and then towards the end I'm going to cover some presentation tips as well based on my experience, what to do, what not to do. First and most important is the cover. So you have a cover slide, and then you talk about the why, right? We talk about why is the PPC. I've called it PPC as problem, pain, and for the cost. And then the promised land, you show them the promised land where you want to take the world to. The Birbal is your solution, right? That's my term. And then you talk about the proof of the pudding. It's all about your traction and whatever proof you receive that you can do it. Business model, then the people, that's the team, and then last the action that you want. Right? So, very important, right? Again, one of the almost 20-30% of the times I get turned off right in the cover slide, right? We say that we should not judge somebody by a book by cover, but people do judge a book by its cover. Like it. The first slide that you put, because when you come and say hi, hello, good afternoon, good morning, and so and so, right? When you're saying that, there is a slide that's presented or on the screen, and that's your cover slide. That cover slide should have your company name, right? Logo. If you don't have, go create one. Doesn't take a long. Create some temporary logo. Maybe you can change it later if you want, right? But there's so many online websites. You just go to Google and say free logo creator website. You find hundreds of websites that help you do that. But the logo, the company name, a tagline, right? And some images, suitable, relevant images to your business. I have seen people come up with a cover slide that are so boring. And like, if you don't have that creativity, if you don't have that enthusiasm to put some effort in the first slide that you're going to present me, how do I trust you as an entrepreneur that you have the same enthusiasm in building the product? Right? If you're coming for a competition, if you're coming for investor pitch, and you don't care about the presentation, how do I invest in your business? And how do I trust that tomorrow when you go to market this product, you'll put efforts to market this to the customer? So that cover slide is very, very important, because that's the slide they're going to look first. And that's the slide when you come and start talking about hi, hello, introducing yourself and all those things, right? Now this cover slide is also when you come over here. So that's how, again, as I said, these are the guidelines. Right? This is what I kind of prefer. I've seen various types of pitches with people coming and introducing and starting in different ways. This is my personal opinion of what I like, and sometimes some of it is based on what I understood from the fellow jury members and those investors, right? But when you come over there, a lot of time, cover slide, what should not be in the cover slide? Do not put that, let's say it's a company is Ekatra, for example, right? So Ekatra Learning Solution, whatever it is, pitch deck presentation for Misfits South Asia Financial Mission. For your own startup sake, do not do that. Right? Now, it's not your college presentation where you put the title of the project and say presentation of project to this panel guide, co-guide. No, just the company name, logo, a tagline, some images. That's it. You don't have to go and say, I'm going. No, write the name of the event where you're pitching and all this. Don't do that. Second, do not start. So as I said, I'm going to cover both. Okay, somebody's annotation is wrong. I don't know why that line is coming. So what I've seen is when you go put over there, so we're going to talk about how to present as well on the slides. A lot of times it's okay, good morning, fellow jury members, fine, good afternoon, whatever. No, and we are team Ekatra, we are team Vruksh, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Then, so today we are here to present our startup for this presentation. I mean, I know that you're here for the presentation. I've seen that, right? Do not start with that. It's such a huge turn off. Right? And especially when it's a 3-minute speech, every second counts. Right? Every 5 seconds you can say, to think of every line that you know, that the people already know, they don't want to be told, why do you want to say that? Right? So I would say, okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Vruksh, and we are start directly. At the most, you could say, okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ismail Akbani. I'm from Team Vruksh, and we are as simple as that. Maybe put your name if you want. That's good manners. So include your name. That's it. Right? Or if you want to be more specific, again, multiple examples. We know I'm Ismail Akbani, we are Team Vruksh, and along with my colleagues over here, I'm representing Team. Rather than saying I'm presenting this pitch, say I'm representing Team Vruksh on behalf of my colleagues. That's point number one. Second thing that I've seen a lot of times is that, when there are 3 founders, 4 founders, multiple founders, right? I don't know, somehow they feel that everybody should pitch. So in a 3-minute speech, we have 5 people speaking. Not one person. He just comes in, says, okay, 1 or 2 slides. Okay, now Anupam will share. And now Ravi will share. Now it looks like a circus going on to me. It's not a college project. Yes, in a college project, when you're presenting, when I sit in a college project as a faculty, I want all the students to present the project because I have to give them marks individually. And I have to verify that हर किसी ने उस project में काम किया है कि नहीं. Does everybody know every aspect of the project or not? As a startup team, right? While everybody's expected to know everything, but then I don't expect everybody to be expert in every part. You might have a finance guy, you might have a technology guy who does not understand the business model very detailed. Fine enough. So in a 3-minute pitch, I would recommend that. For me, again, it could be different, but my personal preference would be one person pitching it. And then yes, everybody else could come and pitch into the question and answer sessions. It's not too demean. And second is the person pitching should be the one who's very good at presentation. Sometimes we take it, okay, no, this guy is a CEO, so the CEO has to present always. I mean, I don't believe in that. I'm like, okay, if you are, as long as the person is part of the co-founding team, not that you bring somebody from outside, hire someone to come and present talk in front of you, or an intern or an employee. The person has to actually have the stake in the company, has to be one of the co-founders, even if he's not the CEO, but he is somebody who can present better, let him do the job. That's perfectly fine. And then the CEO can jump in when they ask the question, because initial stages, you are all more or less, the titles are there, but then you want to project that we are all on the same platform. Even though there was somebody is a CEO, somebody is a CTO, but we don't have that traditional bureaucratic hierarchy system. So keep that in mind. Now, what's that one liner that I want to talk about? So when that cover slide is being put over there, right? You say, come over there and say, we are so and so, and I'm representing. And then we are. And then you pitch your one liner pitch. Right? 10 to 15 seconds. That's it. But that 10 to 15 seconds, that has to keep me interested for the next 3 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever the duration of your presentation is. Right? It has to be very clear, right? It has to showcase some kind of passion, and again, there has to be some element of strength. So how do you do that, right? How many of you want to? Now, this is easy. Anybody can comment, okay, 15-second pitch. I want to break it down and I want to use some templates actually. How many of you want me to share that? Or I can skip the slide in the chat box. Let me see. We have got like more than 50 people over here on the Zoom, right? So how many want me to share exactly how you could do this? Nobody? Because nobody's replying, that means nobody's listening. And if nobody's listening, then I can just go about talking about Akbar stories all along. Okay, Rohit wants it. So unless I see 4 or 5 responses, probably then what I'll do, I'll skip it, and I'll then no, the coordinators and the organizers' response does not count. So here's how you do it.
Sir, 3 लोगों ने please बोल दिया.
Okay, so here's how there are certain ways to do it, right? And these are some of the things. Again, I don't claim that I have copyright or I have thought about it. I've read somewhere or I've seen people do it that way, right? And I've seen that pattern happening around. This is how people normally do it. So that's my understanding. And I sat down and I said, well, these are the ways I've seen. Based on my experience and some probably I would have heard here and there, read something. So one is, the one way is to talk about, okay, we are Vruksh, we are the first, whatever you are, right? And that doesn't. Now that doesn't is about, because see, whatever problem you're going to solve, there are some solutions already out in the market, right? But then the very notion that you are coming to the market, right, your startup, it is implied that you are going to solve some of the issues that are there with the current solutions in the market, right? So those problems you want to solve. So for example, you could come and say that we are, let's say, just hypothetical, what do you say, cigarette brand. Okay? Again, not promoting it, but we are team Vruksh cigarettes, right? The first cigarette in the world that doesn't give you cancer. Getting it? So I'm the first, and that doesn't give you cancer. The problem with the other existing out there. Could be anything. We are the first engineering college, right, that provides 100% placement guarantee, right, or with a 100% placement guarantee, that doesn't charge you any fees. Right? We are the first social media platform that doesn't sell your data to any third-party company. Right? Then the Go. If you know, I don't know, search engine, right? We are the first search engine that doesn't save your data and sell it to advertisers. Right? So that doesn't keep out your part. That's the challenge, that's the pain point with the current solution. The first one line. Now see how it keeps me engaged. Right? Okay, I'm not revealing anything how I do it, but just because we are the first this, so that could be one way. Or the other way could be, we are the fastest or easiest or the funniest or the cheapest or some other adjective way to your solution. Right? So we are the fastest way to learn Java or Python. Right? We are the funniest way to learn programming. So we are team Coda Hack, for example. We are the funniest way to teach kids how to program. Now I'm interested, okay, funniest, how do you make it funny, right? We are the cheapest, it could be cheapest, right? We are the cheapest way to get your MBA degree in USA. Right? We are team XYZ foreign consultants, and we are the cheapest way to get an MBA degree in the USA. Now I'm intrigued, right? So that's the 15-second pitch I was talking about. And that is speaking just after the introduction. So okay, I'm so and so, I'm Anupam, I'm here to represent this team, and we are so and so. That one line, 15 seconds. Right? And you had to work on this. It's not the first version that comes to your mind. Discuss with your team, work, come up with multiple versions of it. Right? Have 4 or 5 such versions, and then discuss with your friends, family, and pitch it to them and say, okay, which one do you like more? Right? And then craft it and finalize one, right? Or it could be, you use the analogy as well. To know example, for example, it's Uber for something. So I was in Delhi in 2018. road and on some visit over there, and then I met one of the very early stage startup founder. I don't know where they are now, but somehow through some connection they said, you are in Delhi, so I want to talk to you and I want to have some interview on my startup idea. We met at a CCD and we were talking, and he came to me and he explained to me his idea for like 10-15 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes just to tell me what he is going to do. And for the first 5-7 minutes, I had no clue what he's talking about. Then in the next 5 minutes, probably I got an idea. Okay, this is what he's talking. And then at the end, I said, you spent 15 minutes of my time. Not that my time is so valuable and I come the time so the but still, you could have done this in 30 seconds. And he was shocked. He said, how could I have done that? I said, you could have just told me that we are Uber for pathology lab tests. Because the basic concept was that you'll have an app, you want to do some blood test, you want to do some urine test or some kind of basic pathology test. You go to the app and we will have those pathology lab technicians with a portable kit moving around the city, just like you have Uber cabs. And you will once you open the app on the map, you will see how many technicians are in your vicinity, which one is the closest technician, right? And it will also tell you who's the male technician or the female. So if you prefer only a female technician, you could select that. And then once you click, the closest technician will come to your mind. That lab technician will come to your home, take the blood sample, whatever it is, take it back to the lab. If that could be done there in the portable kit, he will do it there and give you the result. Or take the sample to the lab and you will get the result, the report via email or something. Simple. Now, if you had started with something, one line sentence like we are Uber for so and so, something like that, and in the first 30 seconds, I would have got much better idea than the first 5 minutes of what he spoke. Right? So next could be, again, there are two things I actually added for this presentation because we are all about social problems, social impact, we're trying to solve social problems. Right? So we make something easier, right? Whatever context. So we make, for example, we make learning English easier for slum kids. That could be a one-line page, right? Or we solve the problem of open defecation in rural areas or in slums, whatever it is. Right? So that's the first thing. Then comes the next slide. Now, again, I have titled them separately, differently. I'm not calling it the problem slide, the solution slide, the competition slide, right? And I guess in a 3-minute, neither should you. So you don't actually need that. This is a problem slide, this is a solution slide. No. Right? As long as you're talking about and what you're speaking conveys that's the problem, I don't think why do you need that topic. So the second slide, again, you move on, and it's all about, as I started, it's all about storytelling. Right? So you're starting a story in the beginning, and you're going through that story. Once you say we are so and so, and then you bring in the problem. The problem could be now here you could start a story. I was traveling here and I saw this, or I read in a newspaper article and I understood, or somebody told me this, or I was in the USA and I saw whatever it is. Or you could just start with the problem. And how many of us know that this literacy is a problem? Or it could be just a simple statement that we all know that drinking water is a problem, potable drinking water is in rural countries. And then while you're talking, the slide should have some relevant information to highlight that, right? So who are the people you're talking about? The drinking water for what people? Are you talking for urban city area or rural area, right? Education, what kind of education are you talking about? Who are the people? What's the context of the problem, right? Then, and also pump up the problem a little bit. So rather than saying, fetching drinking water is a problem for so many rural ladies, right? I would say, we all know drinking water in rural is a problem. Imagine the lady has to wake up in the morning, walk 10 kilometers. She doesn't have a proper footwear as well. And sometimes she's having a baby that's 6 months old. She's carrying a baby in one hand and a water container in the other hand. And she has to go there, stand in the sun heat of May, right? 48-degree temperature for 2 hours just to get one container of the water and walk back 2 kilometers again. And by the time she comes back, the baby was in the heat for 2 hours, right? Versus getting drinking water is a big problem for those ladies. So what I just did, I added more details, and I'm not lying over here. I'm not exaggerating. These are the facts, but these are the facts that actually pump up the problem, right? That make me more interested. That make me care more about the problem. Right. And another thing is, since we're talking about social problems, a lot of problems that you would be addressing, like illiteracy, education, water, health, sanitation, most of the problems that we could be talking about, we all know that. Right. So don't dwell too much on explaining the problem. We know that. Just give an outline. I've seen people coming up, India has the lowest literacy rate, and they'll come up with the statistics. I mean, US has this literacy, and Germany has this literacy, and we have this. I mean, dude, we know this. Come to your part of the solution. But if the problem is something that's not very common, that you expect that not many people understand about, then maybe do a little bit on that, right? Then also talk about the pain, right? So this is the problem, okay, but you're talking about the problem side. But what's the pain? As I mentioned, the that lady has to stand in the sun heat, and then what happens? Probably she gets some other issues because of that. No, she gets back pain, and she develops musculoskeletal disorders, and the child develops certain diseases, right? What are the emotional pains aside with that? So, and again, not all of this will be relevant to all the problems, but some of the problems might have an emotional aspect. If the child is unable to learn English, right? He feels frustrated. He feels inferior. He does not have enough confidence when he moves ahead. What are the alternatives in the market out there, and what are the issues with those alternatives? So this could come, this part of the story should come over here, and this could be on one slide, this could be on two slides, but not in the form of this is a problem or this is the pain. Just put some images. If we're talking about water problem, right? I was in a brief presentation back in 2016-17. Somebody came and presented, and that was a period, March, April 2017 or 16, I don't remember exactly, but Chennai was going through very severe water issues. And there were videos on the news website, YouTube, where people actually in 2 to 3 kilometer long queues of just for one 5-liter can of drinking water. And that entire presentation, they talked about solving the water problem. There was not a single mention of Chennai. At the end, I said, you could have started just with that one 30-second video clip from YouTube that shows it, and you could have changed the way we feel. 30 seconds, you could have made us care. 10 minutes, I did not feel any care about that problem. Right? So look, dig up into news. What's in the news recently about that problem? Put some news clips, right? Maybe if you had some movie clip that talk about the problem, put that, or some screenshots that you could mention, some statistics, again, numbers in the board and all, some graphs if you can put it over there, right? And then what's the cost? So I don't care about, probably a lot of issues out there. I don't care, let's say, about the garbage. So many tons of plastic is wasted every day and dumped into the dump yards every day. I'm like, fine. I don't have a dump yard in front of my house. They don't burn plastic in front of my society, so I don't care. Right? Now that's where you talk about what is at what cost. If you are ignoring to solve this problem, right? And this is the most important slide by the way to me so far. At what cost? So I could just pass into and now I know we could simply sit around here, choose to ignore about this problem, but what would the cost you would be paying? In terms of our health, in terms of financial cost, in terms of our future generation, it would be what is the cost that the target group is paying right now? If you're talking about certain disease or that water problem, what's the cost that mother is paying? She's paying with her life sometimes, she's paying with her health, she's paying the cost with the health of her child. Right? What is the cost that us, we, US, it's not USA, right? Paid by the target group, or the cost paid by us? Even if that segment is facing the problem, but how are we also paying for that? Even if a worker in some company is working and he's working on some component that are, let's say, having harmful gases, it's his problem. He's getting sick. But what is the cost that I'm paying? He's getting sick, right? How is it affecting me? How is it affecting the society? How is it affecting the nation? That is where I would care. And this is one aspect that I've seen most of the startups feel to address. They assume that if I highlight that there's a pain, people would care. We are a selfish breed. Let's be very clear on that, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, even the investor, the jury, but everybody's like, okay, why do I care? Because there are thousands of problems out there in the world. I cannot possibly go and care for each of the problems. If I start doing that, then who would care for me, right? So you have to make sure that out of those thousands of problems, the problem that you are solving is the problem that I feel a concern for. Right? So you could put some statistics, some news clips, some images, right? And then comes you are very think, okay, there is a process. For example, I think Ekatra, which is a very good example. Education is an issue in rural areas. They don't get quality education, right? And then you pump up the poppy, and what happens when these people are illiterate? They become, sometimes they resort to crimes and they do a lot of illegal activities. And how does that affect us as well? The crime rate is going high. So what you're doing is now you're talking about the problem of that education, pain points of the people, and then also if they are illiterate, how I am paying for that, because if they get into criminal activities, I am the one who's going to be at the receiving end of those criminal activities, right? But then it comes and says, and there are so many people out there, because the moment you talk about the problem and solution, okay, but there's so many people, NGOs working out there, so many online websites helping them to learn this Coursera and stuff like that. And then it comes, okay, there are people out there in the community doing this. But what about those who do not have access to internet, right? And that is where we are doing it through SMS-based learning, Right? So what you're doing is there's a problem, we have to problem the pain, and we're acknowledging. So see, the competition also coming in the story here. In the very first slide, 1 minute what I'm talking, 1 minute, 1 hour, or maybe 60, 80 seconds that I'm talking on this slide, I'm talking about the problem, I'm pumping up the pain, I'm giving it the cause, making them care. At the same time, I'm then saying, okay, I'm acknowledging the competition. I'm not saying there's no competition. I'm acknowledging indirectly there are so many people doing good work, and I'm actually appreciating their work as well, not criticizing. But then I'm picking up, okay, but they're doing this. There's Coursera, there's so many online. There's I don't know what is that. School के साथ में type करते हैं एक तो project है आत्माकांक्षा project or something like that. But what about kids in the rural areas who do not have smartphones or who do not have access to internet? Now that's your but, and that's where you're saying, okay, this is interesting. This is where now you are differentiating, moving away from that and talking about this is the segment that we're talking about, right? That's where your story changes the gear. And then from that, so again, this you don't have to have this slide. I just put it over there for you to help to understand it. That when you're talking about that, what's the group that you're talking about? How well do you understand that? Right. So if you can put one or 2% anecdotes, okay, if you're talking about understanding English, that they don't understand English, for example, or the kids in the rural areas cannot speak English, so we're doing something to help them learn English. That's our social cause, so that they learn English and they can compete in the global world. So now you can say 30% of the rural kids cannot speak English properly, right? Or no, that's one way of going, right? But I would say there are so many kids out there who cannot speak English. And then I was in this village, I was going through probably traveling or for whatever reason. And there was this girl called Shanti, and she was an 8-year-old girl. She was in 4th class in a primary school. And I was just talking to her and I asked her, can you and she said she's studying English since past 3 years. So I just asked her to introduce herself. And that girl, Shanti, could not even speak 2 sentences about herself in English. What I'm doing is now I'm showing my understanding of the target group. And I'm also personalizing it, putting into the story rather than saying 10,000 people cannot speak English. Right? It doesn't make that impact, but that one example that I keep personal, that makes so much more of impact, right? And then if you see, I put why here, and in the bracket I put about the now part of it. The now covers the opportunity and time part of it, right? Okay, why now? I mean, that problem has been for ages. Right? Why? What would happen if we don't act on it immediately? What would happen if we don't bring the startup into the market and we don't start selling this product or service and solving this problem, social problem, and if we delay this by 5 years? I'm like, okay, you are a good thing and I could help you, but right now there's some other startup I want to help. I would rather give my money then I probably come back after 2 years, I give you, right? So you want to address that question as well. Okay, no, I am the one who needs the money right now. I am the one who needs the prize right now. I'm the one who needs the support, the mentoring, the recognition, the appreciation, the prize right now, because this is the problem that needs to be solved right now. This is the problem that needs to be solved yesterday. Right? That's also the. And again, whatever I'm pushing a lot of things over here. Not everything would come in your dish, right? Sometimes you'll have to see what suits what you can bring in, right? I'm actually serving the entire buffet. It's up to you to pick and choose what you can eat, right? Then you talk about the next. After that, you move after first 2 slides. Once you establish the problem, right? Then you talk about a utopian situation, the ideal dreamland, the promised land, how the world should be, right? And then just shift on. This is a problem, and then you suddenly shift. Okay. And you could do it whatever ways. I've given you 2 examples on the screen over here, right? If this is how I would have done it, okay, this is not what is, this should have been what if, right? So what if there was a way to, and then whatever the issue talk, way to solve that issue while providing something additional bonus and without the limitation, right? So you have pumped up the problem of education of the kids and the illiteracy rate, and then you say, what if there was a way to teach these kids basics or educate these rural children, right, while being in the comfort of their home without needing internet connection? Now what you're doing is, see, the part after while is what you're adding is some additional bonus that additional feature that you are providing, which the existing alternatives do not. And without is the problem that the existing alternatives have that you are getting away with. What if there was a way to enjoy smoking while also increasing, maintaining your, helping with your blood pressure without getting cancer, right? And then, or you could say, imagine a world, right, where you could drink as much of beer as you want, right, while still being sober, and without smelling of the alcohol, for example, right? So, and then you say, then you bring to the solution. You come up with the problem, and then you say, well, this is what the ideal world would look, and then comes your bill. This is exactly that ideal, that a statement. What is the way? This is the way. This is how we are going to do. That's what we are proposing here, right? So when you come up with your solution again, do not write solution on the slide. Right? Just put the images. Whatever, you could have some short videos. 3 minutes speech does not allow a lot of time for a video, but screenshots, pictures, illustrations, whatever it is, you could put over there. Talk about the benefits of the product, not the features. Another thing that I've seen, I have got a laptop, there's a 4 GB RAM, this hard disk, this keyboard. Nobody's interested. I got a laptop that can help you do this. We have developed a product that can help the students learn anytime just by SMS. You don't talk about the features that is going to work on 5G technology, is going to work on 4G technology. It will have 10 buttons, right? I'm not sure. I would say somebody asking about the notes. I would recommend that you make the notes. I'm not sharing the slides, right? Because just for that, because there's nothing much on the slides as well, anyways. But and I would want you actually to note all those things. Right? But if maybe at some future time, if need be, I might end up sharing that as well. But anyways, coming to the benefits. So talk benefits, not features, right? And if you have physical product demo, if you can show live, do that, and just talk about the ABCs, how it works. When I say ABCs, that's very basic. Don't get into because a 3-minute pitch is not your time to explain to the details. What's the processor at the back end of it? What's the technology, and what's the microchip you're going to use, and what's the programming language you're using? We are developing in Python or no. Just the basic of how it works. So how it works is, the student wants to study a chapter 2 of his class 6. So this is the code. He says standard 2, class 6, chapter 3, and sends a message to us. And in the next 5 minutes through SMS, he gets all the details of that. That's it. Because if the investors have, the jury has more questions. See, you have 3 minutes to pitch, you have 7 minutes for Q&A. Right? Leave something for the Q&A as well. So basics cover here. If they have more queries, they come back to you and ask, okay, how does this exactly work? Explain it in the Q&A. So that's about your solution, and at least target 3 to 4 benefits. Map these benefits to the problems you're talking about. It should not happen that in the problem you said people do not have internet connection, or solution mein aap kya baat kar rahe ho? Our solution is cheap, our solution is fun, it makes a lot of noise, the students will dance. Was that a problem that you're solving? No. Right? So focus on the benefits. Should be at least out of the 3-4 benefits, the first 2 benefits should focus on the problem that you mentioned before in the story, in the early slides, and then come to that. Right? So again, that's when you're talking about a model, it should be repeatable and scalable. Solve something that's very really painful, right? A problem, not just a superficial problem. And also, there's an example of Steve Jobs. I would probably see in the Q&A session if you can talk about that, but I'm skipping it. But sometimes just don't. Even if it's a prototype, even if you're making the demo of an app, make it a little beautiful. Make it look something that people would want to look at, not just some crap over there. Right? Then the next comes again, next comes the proof slide. I say the proof of the pudding, right? And the proof, I don't call it the traction slide, but I say the proof of, a proof that you can do what you're claiming to do, right? So the proof could be, and it's very important because in the word, you don't even go to jail without evidence. If they have to put you in jail, they have to have enough solid incriminating evidence against you that you committed the crime. Otherwise, they say innocent until proven guilty. So same is the case, that now it could be traction if you're already into the market. So though we have so many schools onboarded, or we have sold so many softwares, we have so many partners, right? It could be some case studies, right? It could be testimonials from actual customers, testimonials from potential customers. Like, okay, we want this. Or it could be great if you have some renowned experts on board who are helping you out, who actually corroborated your story and said, yes, he's an expert in that domain. He says, yes, this is the requirement. So if you can quote him, right? He agrees with what you're doing, or some experts on your advisor board. And again, not somebody like me, some renowned person from that domain, right? And if that person becomes your advisor, even if your product is still not on the market, it still adds a lot of value. If that person is becoming an advisor, that means he believes in your vision, he believes in your capability. That's again a testimony, right? Sometimes it could be customer feedback, sometimes it could be just signups. Right? So if you just go around, and so I was doing this course back in 2016. I still teach that, but so I was teaching this course on entrepreneurship, and one fine day I gave them activity that you have to run a business for 2 days and come up with something very basic. And I give them 30 minutes to come up with the idea, and next 30 minutes to come back and report to me who was doing what business, and then I approve it. So there were 2 teams. So these were final year students, computer science, and they ran out after 30 minutes with their ideas. And then out of like 10 teams, they came back. 2 teams decided to teach computer programming to the first year juniors. They have a subject on computer programming. They were not happy. They were like, we don't college में इतना time नहीं मिलता है. Sometimes we miss the lecture. Sometimes we don't get enough time to practice on the labs. So if we can learn more about it, it would be good. So both the teams had the same business plan. Okay, we'll teach you computer programming. We are final year computer students, so we know programming a bit. And we would teach you in the canteen 3 days in this week, 2 hours every day in the evening after college. And they had some normally 50 rupees, 60 rupees fees they were charging because it was a project for them. The only difference, one of the teams came back and said, okay, we have signed up. We went to the first year classes, all the classes. We asked the teachers to allow us into class. We explained them our idea and we asked them who wants to join. They did not take the money right then. Nobody paid, just who's interested. And they came up with the name of some 42 students. And the other team came up with the name of 128 students who were interested, right? And if I had to select, I allowed both of them by the way, but if I had to select only one team to go ahead with the same business, if I had to have no compete clause, right, it's easy guess who I would have allowed. So sometimes that also works. Then comes the most important, another important part is your business model, right? So we all know the business model canvas. This is just another modified version of it, not created by me. I found it somewhere on the web, and I kind of like it because when I do a talk for idea office Abhyuday, it's all about social business. So I actually did this last year for them. So it's kind of the standard business model canvas with some modifications. You can see more or less the things are same. Only thing is in the value proposition, you're talking about the value proposition, but you're also talking about what's the social innovation aspect to it, right? So that is, and instead of key partners, they're calling it key allies. Because any social problem that you're solving, you will need to partner with NGOs, with the government department, with some academics, with some gram panchayats. So that becomes a very important part. And again, same you have cost and revenue streams. There's one more column there that talks about community reinvestment. Because if you're a social startup, you want to show that also. How are we going to reinvest some of the amount money that we make? How are you going to reinvest back into the community? So if you could add that also adds some brownie point. Now you don't have to put it as it is. You don't necessarily have to this template, this diagram on the screen, right? You could just have important features. Look, okay, this is how we're going to generate the revenue. These are our major costs, and these are our allies, and maybe all this. No, and the other part we call already the innovation part. You already explained the customer part. You already explained, right? Channel and all those things you already explained earlier. So some of the parts you guys skip also, the parts that have already been covered in the story. If you already talked about who you're going to partner with, if you already talked about the resources part in the earlier part, you can skip that and just put another slide over there and talk about only those points. Right. And then comes the people, the team part of it. Right? So in the team, again, put nice images of the team, right? And of course, just write the name. If you have designations decided, put those designations. And if you have, so just a background, if you could write, you don't have to explain. Again, I've seen people come and talk a lot. I can speak 2 minutes about each team member is not required. Just write 2-3 lines over there. People can read it. A lot of things, even in the problem solution part as well. When you put those news clippings, don't go and read and explain that. Chennai, this happened. Just put it. Let people read. You keep talking about your story. Let the PPT just do its work. Be in the background. And then if you have won any awards or laurels as a startup or as individuals, put that. If you have got any networks, you can put that. If you have got any advisors on board, you can put their names. If you're already incubated somewhere, you can put the name of the incubator as well. Just add some more credibility that, okay, some incubator has actually shown trust in you. Right? And comes the last, the call to action. Right. So then you wrap it up very nicely. So this is where we are, and we all want you to be a part of a story. We all want you to be a part of a journey. And since we are here, we are thankful to you for listening to us. And going forward, if you're looking for fund, you mentioned about the fund. Again, if you're talking about fund, there will be one more slide about the asks that are not included here, because for this competition, you're not going to see fund, I guess. But otherwise, you would talk about what fund you're expecting, what's the valuation you're expecting, and how the fund is going to utilize. Those slides would be there. And then it could be fun, it could be mentoring. Okay, and whether we get the prize or not, we would be very happy if one of the jury members, whoever feels that they connect with our domain, they relate to a problem, and if you would like to come on board as mentor us, right, or just help us, we would be happy. Or if you can connect to us, help us get into a network. We are looking for some NGO into this domain, or we are looking some contact in the gram panchayat. So if any of the jury members can help us with that, this is one thing that very, 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 very few startups are doing. Right now, this may not help you gain brownie points. Don't do this for the sake of marks, but what happens a lot of times, irrespective whether you win or not, whether they give you marks or not, but the people who are sitting in the jury panel, they come with some experience, they come with some network, they come with a lot of expertise, they come with a lot of background. And you never know, out of 5 people, somebody might say, hey, you know what, I know an NGO. Just after this call, give me a call, or write to me, and I'll connect. What's wrong? At the worst, what will happen? Nobody will. That's fine. But that take this as an opportunity that, okay, now this slide is when your pitch is already done. Now you're taking that opportunity to get, irrespective of whether I win a prize or not. Even if I don't get a prize, it's good that if I at least get one contact from the jury members, right? So that is the last, that's how I prefer when people post. So I think that's about it. I wanted to cover some slide tips on the presentation part as well. But what's the time? It's 4:03. We got like 5 minutes more. So I think we have, yeah. So rather than going through the presentation part on my own, I'd rather let it be for the audience Q&A, and in between this question and the answer that point was covered. So if anybody's got any questions, let me go through the chat box. The chat was closed. Okay, so somebody asking, can the first slide be interactive by asking a question to the audience? Now I know there's a lot of people talk about, even in public speaking, that start your speak with a question, start your pitch with a question. I'm not against that, but I have seen in the virtual world, it doesn't work. In the physical world, sometimes it works because you're asking people to do that. In the virtual world, what happens a lot of time, in fact, when you come and present, most of the jury members would even have the cameras off and they're on mute and they're listening to you, but they're doing something else. So what happens? You ask the question, and if you don't get enough response, you say, how many of you have seen somebody? How many of you feel that the world should be cancer free? And you're expecting that majority of them would say yes, and then you have the next statement planned accordingly. And if they don't respond, that entire thing goes for a toss, right? So in an online world, I do this in my physical lectures, but if you today I did not start the question because I used to do in the early days in my online sessions, but I realized that people don't actually respond. So it's better to avoid that. That's my personal take on it. Right. Then okay, somebody's answered. Abhi's the answer. Okay. Any other questions? No questions, no inputs, no doubts.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, thank you so much for really great insights. I just have one question that do we have any time limit to, in seconds, like to project the problem statement and solution, like in 30 seconds you have to pitch your problem, or 30 seconds for solution, something like that?
You have 3 minutes overall, but then you have to decide, right? Because in 3 minutes, I have to cover a problem, I have to cover the context, I have to cover the opportunity, I have to talk about the solution, I have to show the business model, right? I have to put in a bit about the traction part. So it's up. I know you have to be smart, but there's no timeline like that. As long as in some cases, the business model would be so simple, and probably a lot of other similar startups are doing that. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on business model. You could just say we are working like Uber, right? So entire 30 seconds of talk is done in 5 seconds. Then you can use it at time somewhere else. So it's up to you. And normally what I say is when you're pre-teaching, try having 2-3 multiple versions of your presentation, presenting with your friends, and see, are they able to understand it? Right? And then again, a lot of times, as I said, a lot of times if there's something that's left out in the presentation and it's very important, the jury will come back to you in the Q&A session. They'll ask.
Okay, thank you.
Only thing is that do not cram up too many slides, but otherwise what happens, in 3 minutes, if you have got 15 slides, every 10 seconds, if you're moving the slide, it makes the head feel easy. As a jury, I'm somebody who's sitting over here, I'm just trying to focus on one slide and suddenly the slide is gone. So that thing you have to just keep.
Absolutely. I think just to build up on that, it is when you have 3 minutes, it's very important that you keep the attention of the person alive. I think always keep, like as Ismail definitely shared, the slide should be an extension of what you are speaking, right? And the focus should be on you as the presenter. They should always back you up.
So so just to add to this, in a 3 minute, what I would say, the slide should not be like a regular talk where there's some point and then I'm referring to the slide. It should be as if if you are seeing some online lecture videos, that the presenter is speaking and then the background is talking about river. Suddenly river comes into the picture. Right? But even if that river did not come, it would not the flow is going the same. It is not even turning. So that's how it should be. That you're speaking a 3 minute speech should be there. It should be a speech that could happen in case, let's say, for some reason the sharing does not work. You cannot share the PPT. Even then, what you're going to speak should work. And that just keeps coming in between. And second, you need not know the coordination part is very important. Just a couple of tips which you're talking about. I've seen that as well. Abhijit is presenting, and every two minutes he has to say, ask Apurva, can we go on to the next? Right? And I have seen something so well coordinated that Apurva knows that, okay, Abhijit has said this sentence, now I have to change it. He does not have to tell her. That coordination, that shows कि इतना perfect coordination team है, तो ये team कुछ भी कर ले. अदरवाइज ये बोलता है कि वो स्लाइड पे लेके जाओ प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट की, और प्रेजेंटर बोल रहा है प्रॉब्लम सेट पे जाओ, वो किसी और स्लाइड पे गया है, एंड देन अगेन दैट टाइम दैट कोऑर्डिनेशन अमंगस्ट यू इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And just one or two points that I wanted to add before we wind up, because very important for that when answering questions, because you have 7 minutes for a question, right? And that's one thing I said. When a question is asked, a lot of time what happens is the person who's a CEO feels the obligation that I have to answer the question, right? Even if he does not know the question, answer properly. Right? Or sometimes somebody in the team wants to show. So one good thing, if you are confident that you know the answer very well and you are the right person, go ahead and answer. Right? Otherwise, wait for 2 seconds or somebody else in the team to pick up. Or the best way is that you decide amongst yourself. That the question is asked to me and Abhijit and I are presenting, and I am not sure whether I know better. I think probably Abhijit might know better. So rather than answering it, right, I would just say, okay, I know I can take this, but then Abhijit, do you want to take this? And then Abhijit will say, okay, I want that. And if Abhijit now feels that he can answer it better than me, he would take it up and answer. Otherwise, what happens? I will answer something घुमाओ फिराओ करके, फिर Abhijit would realize 2 मिनट में कि इसने सारा बर्बाद कर दिया. फिर आखिरी में बोलेगा, okay, but what Ismail wanted to say this, or Ismail skip this part. तो जो मैं 2 मिनट तो बर्बाद कर चुका, अब फिर से वही, अब now Abhijit is explaining. So why not give him the opportunity right in the beginning, right? And that's for the entire move. So that's one thing I think you should have that coordination. Second is, a lot of time I've seen. Sometimes you don't understand the question properly and still you start up answer. Question सुनते नहीं ढंग से, question कुछ और होता है, right? कि ये कल को competition आ जाएगा मार्केट में तो क्या करोगे, और ये अपनी ही कहानी लेके शुरू हो जाते हैं 2 मिनट तक, and then some other jury member has to interrupt and say, no, what exactly he mean was this, and then some other team member has to answer it. So make sure that you understood the question correctly. If you are not understood, there is nothing wrong in asking that person, can you please rephrase the question, right? So that I understand better and answer it correctly, right? So please do take care of those 2 things. Yeah, I've got done. It's 4:09, so almost on time.
Thank you, Ismail sir, and all the startups. Indeed, a very insightful session. Now let us move to the panel discussion on state of social entrepreneurship. Welcome to all the esteemed panelists, and we all are glad to have you here. Hello.
Yes, Apurva, please go ahead. Apurva, yes, please go ahead.
Now am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. Today in the panel, we have with us Mr. Jatin Chaudhary, Mr. Bhanu Prasad, and Mr. Anand Kanan. Introducing our first panelist, Mr. Jatin Chaudhary, founder at Isha Network, a global startup network that hosts startup meetups with 20 plus global startup cities in 13 plus countries. He was recently awarded Startup Ratna by GUSC Gujarat University. Next, we have Mr. Bhanu Prasad. He works on challenging problems in the public services space in India at Digital Impact Square, a TCS Foundation initiative in the Tata Group. He also coaches early stage social entrepreneurs towards sustainable and scalable impact. The third panelist is Mr. Anand Karan, Director, Avas Digitech International Private Limited. He comes with 25 years of national and international experience in business development, ranging from animation to engineering. He has created India's first process-driven innovation, Sparkino. Over the years, he was part of all here. I would now like to invite Mr. Abhijit, Executive Director at Vruksh Ecosystem Foundation, to host the discussion on state of social entrepreneurship. Over to you, Abhijit.
Hey, hi, Apurva. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for that kind introduction about all of us. Very happy to be part of this and excited to host all of you. Obviously, Jatin and I, we go long back, and always a pleasure to chat with Jatin over this discussion and welcoming Bhanu and Anand to the Misfits tribe this year. Jatin has been anyways long-term associate in all of these. जो भी हम हरकतें करते रहते हैं स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम में तो साथ में काफी साल से कर रहे हैं and I think we'll expand that with Bhanu and Anand moving forward. So very happy to host all of you this evening. And so how's it going? What's been the year like for all of you? Maybe Jatin, you want to start?
Yes. So hopefully things are getting better. So that is a good sign. So the work was going on, but life was very boring. So probably everybody would have that story that the positive side of the pandemic and the other things, but it was really boring for me. But now I'm really happy that things are moving and people are more excited about the potential opportunity.
Absolutely. How about you, Manu?
Hi everyone, nice to see you all. Yeah, I think I would say this is an extreme opportunity for us to do multiple pivots. The way we ran our programs, the way our cohorts, startups responded to these challenges, it's all been very heartening to see. This entire pandemic gave several opportunities for us to really rethink business model, sustainability, rethink our whole approach towards impact. So that's how I would look at it.
Thank you. Anand, how's been the year for you?
The year has really been working on too much of innovation-led things, including my own journey, which started off with at the height of pandemic when we had launched our reverse acceleration platform. So, I mean, it's been totally challenges after challenges, running our own startup and also working with the challenges for others.
Absolutely. So to kickstart, like all of you have been working in this innovation space, have working in the ecosystem for all of these years. What do you think has how has the sector evolved with the pandemic? Like last year was so much uncertainty with everyone. This year again with the second wave, it's been crazy to look at how people responded. Some like the education sector blew up like crazy, and in the startup ecosystem space now we're seeing all of these massive IPOs going out there. So with the early stage ecosystem, what's been your understanding on how has it evolved or course corrected with the pandemic setting in?
Yes, Anand.
Okay, Jatin, go ahead.
Well, Anand, you go ahead.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
See, I mean, what difference I can say from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic situation, if we may call so that this is a post-pandemic scenario that we are in, especially when I've been dealing with corporates basically on the innovation sector, there has been a sea of change because the pandemic brought down one thing, one big lesson for the corporate sector was that their research and development team got scattered and their entire R&D went for a toss. And a lot of things came to a grinding halt. So that's where platforms or acceleration platforms like us started gaining the value of what we are trying to do. When we are talking about the pre-pandemic situation, nobody was even bothered to understand or listen to what we are trying to do, especially in our country. But abroad, it's a completely different scenario. There, they have been practicing it for the last 25, 30 years. They understand how the outside contribution to the world of research and development helps a lot. But here in this country, it has taken the pandemic to bring that down into their head and nail it down into their head, saying that we really need to think outside of what your existing team is only capable of doing. I think, and the same thing even goes with a lot of our social enterprises, which has experimented a lot of new things during the pandemic and brought in a lot of solutions to the society. Could be the oxygen cylinders, could be the our neural systems, which they have developed small systems which can monitor the patients could be the help and support which the startups are providing or social enterprises are providing for the population. So I think there's been a lot of change in the thought processes of people, and which is a good thing. And I really hope this thought process continue to be the way it is even after the pandemic is over, so that we really scale up on our innovation journey and we go forward on this.
Thank you, Jatin, Bhanu.
Bhanu, you want to go?
Go ahead, Jatin.
I'll
Go ahead. I can join in after that.
Yeah. So Vijit, the couple of aspects. One aspect is about our own work. So when the pandemic happened, and for the first 3 to 6 months, the idea is what do we do? What do we do? We will try to do a lot of other things. And then we figured out, okay, what is it that's something that we could do it, and we could do it longer term, even if things get better. So we started a lot of initiatives which are native online, not necessarily the conversion of offline into online, but natively, digitally native initiatives. So that was from our work. And now we've started doing a lot of hybrid ones. Because in-person now has a greater advantage if you can do that. Because if this particular meetup would have been in person, and the charm and the aura would have been completely different. But this also has a value, because what it has enabled is it has enabled a lot of people to get access to resources which were not there for them. So if somebody is in a tier 2 cities like Rajkot or Vadodara, for them they can be part of this initiative. They can be part of lots of other great initiatives. So there is a small gap, I believe. Even though there are a lot of initiatives, people either don't have a confidence or aptitude to be part of those things. So something should happen. Either the organizers get better at figuring out the way to communicate to them, or the people get little more confidence that, these are the programs are for them and not just something where you just happen to discover them, happen to be part of it. So there is a work in progress around that aspect. Another thing what I realized is on the social space lies a lot more empathy among people, because during the height of the pandemic, that a lot of people struggle. Even those who are supposed to be resourceful, they struggle to find resources. So probably as a whole in the society, probably little more empathetic towards the as a whole, and slightly more towards the people who are trying to solve problems of the society. So probably the same set of social entrepreneurs who were not getting that right response in 2019, probably if they pitch the same idea to the same set of people, they might get a better response from the people. So these are the interesting trends that I've been observing.
I think both Anand and Jatin have sort of covered the macro picture. I resonate fully with it. We had something similar experience in terms of how do we reorganize ourselves, how do we repurpose ourselves to be more useful to the community. A few insights from the micro picture from the social entrepreneur side. What I feel is that the health and the logistics and the related peripheral domains have got a fresh look in terms of how the stakeholders perceive solutions coming from these sectors. And for the startups have been challenged to think in terms of what does it mean to scale. We all know during the second wave that was probably the true test of any scalable solution across the country. If you have to solve an oxygen problem, if you have to even do training for the people who could operate those oxygen cylinders, what kind of tragedies could happen, we have all seen those. So these are the kind of challenges that we really started seeing that opened up new opportunities for the startups to operate in. It created, second point is it created a good, I think, understanding even for the bureaucracy, for the public sector to understand what is the role of startups can play in rapidly doing prototypes and trying to experiment with things. I think there is greater respect. The third aspect is if you look at for a social enterprise that is in the early stage, say for example they're in the first 3 months or 6 months of their early stage, they're just developing their idea. A significant challenge that was posed to them was how do you actually go on the field and do your immersion? How do you actually understand the ecosystem? How do you understand users? That phase, which I feel is extremely important, I think that was severely hampered. But then it also gave rise to opportunities for innovation there, building networks that were virtual, building those relationships and trying to go and explore those ecosystems virtually. And I think there are also some aspects of social enterprises that have gained significant advantage. Telemedicine, healthcare remotely delivered, education delivered remotely, or educational outcomes being better measured. Not being just happy that more people are online now, or people are delivering content on WhatsApp and mobile phones, but actually thinking, what are they learning? What is the content? How is it coming from? How is it getting curated? How do I eventually merge this offline experience and online experiences? A lot of questions and soul searching happened, I think, for social enterprises. So these are, I feel, how the social enterprises sort of both face challenges, at the same time also innovated during the pandemic.
Definitely, I think those were great points, and really sync with them also. And I think this has definitely opened up a new phase towards collaboration, towards knowledge sharing, and towards community. The way that we've seen it, because I think definitely, Jatin, I'm really keen to have the next edition of Misfits offline and really see if we can get everyone together, because that would be lovely, right? That what you mentioned is that aura when all of us are together in that room. It's very heartening. But at the same time, I think what has it helped us to do is with minimal resources, we've been able to scale this entire impact to borders. We have like people like with the whole idea of Misfits itself came at the peak of the pandemic, and we are able to scale it across South Asia and just really bring in people from Sri Lanka, Nepal, Pakistan, Vietnam, Philippines, all of them, and coming together and just interacting with the community. I think that's one power which if we even think of doing offline, it becomes like so many questions just come up. But I think now there's that, I think definitely that hybrid future will persist going forward. And there's so much collaboration that can now engage. And I think even for a lot of people, it's been that they're open to not meeting face to face. नहीं तो वो हर बार वो there's always this thought process कि unless we sit across the table, there's no progress that can happen. But I think that people have become accustomed to something like this, and there's value being transferred from one side to another. Like all of us here in different cities, pretty much everyone on this call is right now in different cities, right? 17 people probably joining out of maybe 10-15 cities. It's massive, right? That power has been re-envisioned for all of us, and I think that's massive. Going forward, like right, you all of you have been doing some phenomenal work, and we have all of these entrepreneurs with us who are doing some phenomenal work out there. We've seen, especially in the social impact sector, like there's been challenges, there's been so much that people had to go through, right? Even like obviously startups and entrepreneurs in general. What do you think could be done to further strengthen this tribe and empower these people more? Maybe Jatin, if you want to take a shot at it.
I believe there will be a lot of points that we could discuss, and as we move forward, we'll get. But one of the things I really realize is not judge them. So that like the challenge happens sometimes when a social impact. So typically, then we will associate those individuals with people who have massive impact in the society. So somebody's social impact venture might not have a massive impact, but still it's a great initiative. So typically, so that's what I realized, that a lot of people, they start with them do good in the society, but only they would want to help people who do good at massively scale. That is good, but the people who are not at massive scale, and they might not get to massive scale, and if they are doing good, they should also be supported. So sometimes that particular piece, like that particular part, gets missed out through a lot of other things. So like small is beautiful, and if somebody is able to solve problems for 10 people, 20 people, awesome. If they're able to scale, even better, but that is also fine. And because the very fact that a lot of people would start up because they want to solve problems, or they are passionate about solving for something. So sometimes, those individuals or the founders, then in for this, mirage of scale, a lot of them, they might do certain things that are not really they wanted to do. And then the people who promise them for support, they and don't end up supporting them. So anyways, it becomes a roadblock for them. So that is something that, what I realized that, probably, again, I would always come down to empathizing with the people that, small, awesome. Can we help them without judging them? If we can do that little more, that would be better.
Absolutely. Bhanu, your thoughts?
Yeah, I have shared this on several fora, and this I would just repeat. I believe the social entrepreneurship ecosystem is like a conveyor belt. There are organizations that work on the right, extreme right, doing the scale, advanced level series fundings and so on, venture capitalists and so on. And on the extreme left are those who are evangelizing innovation, evangelizing social entrepreneurship and so on. We sort of consider ourselves to be on that left. We are very early stage. We are a philanthropic organization. We are supporting startups at idea and concept stage. And what is important to strengthen the ecosystem, I think, is for us to link those belts, to ensure that everybody from the evangelizing in schools and colleges, the Atal Tinkering Labs of the world, and ensuring the community innovation centers, the pre-incubation centers, the incubation centers, the accelerators, all of these sort of are linked. And we have a good understanding of how do we give visibility to a startup that comes up with an idea or a concept saying that I can map your next 36 months of journey, right from ideation, eliminating the initial unknowns, doing your validation, immersion, understanding stakeholders, all the way to doing some minimum viable prototypes, all the way to getting your potentially your first customer. I can give you that visibility because I have this kind of an ecosystem and I can establish these linkages. I think as an ecosystem player, it is our responsibility to form these connections and ensure that each of these elements in the conveyor belt are connected so that there is a very smooth handover takeover. When a social enterprise comes to us at any one level, at any one part of it, we are able to provide them visibility both left of them and right, and say that, by the way, if you have questions about going back and understanding your user better, here is our partner. Go back on the field and do your research on the ground. If you think you're ready, go here, and here is our partner who can help you scale, give you funding and whatnot. So I think, how do you strengthen the ecosystem? I feel these ecosystem enablers have to better understand each other and with a lot of trust and faith, connect each of their offerings so that a social enterprise that comes in has long-term visibility, and long-term visibility gives greater confidence to the enterprise, gives greater confidence to the founder, and that encourages more people to come forward and take up social entrepreneurship as a way of life. Otherwise, we are going to have short-term views of 3 months, 6 months programs, and then after that, what? So that question actually puts doubts in people's mind and then discourages people from social entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. I think wonderfully put, Bhanu. That definitely is. So again, like with Misfits, I think we've been, or with Vruksh, like the core idea has been actually bringing all of us together and exposing us to this side of the ecosystem, enablers, innovators, so that they can truly leverage us in the best possible way, right? All of us are here to add value. That's definitely how everyone on the entrepreneur side can know who to approach. And I think that collaboration aspect is definitely there. Any thoughts, Anand, from your side on this point?
I think what Bhanu just mentioned makes a lot of value to that whole thing, because end of the day, what are we going to give these startups, be it a social entrepreneurial startup or any other startup who is planning to be in the journey? Generally, running an seminar or a webinar does not add any value to these startups. And that is one thing that every incubator or accelerator has to understand, that startup needs value. What are we going to give them? आप उसको लेके कहाँ जा रहे हो? What is it you are going to feed him in his journey? Is it something relating to his product development? Are you helping him in his commercialization part? Are you helping him in his product design and the user experience aspect? So these are some of those critical inputs which helps any entrepreneur, be it for a social cause or be it for a profitable cause. These inputs are needed for them to take their journey forward. I think that is what we should all be looking up at as enablers, as people who are nurturing various startups or providing inputs to various startups, is how do we help them scale? Competition is healthy, and it is required. But at the same time, we also need to ensure that we also help the co-businesses grow up. If they grow, we all grow together. It's as simple as that. And innovation or this journey is no more competition. It's all about collaboration. 3 startups come together, develop a product, go to a 4th country, find out a market. You have a huge market that you're talking about. It's not only your country, but you're talking of countries that where you can reach in. And that's something that we need to add value.
Phenomenal insight, Anand. So everyone here, I would really encourage you to keep your questions also ready. If you have something bubbling on your mind to ask our phenomenal panelists here this evening. So on that part, one direct question is, what value are you providing? How should this ecosystem that's listening to all of us here, how can they benefit from it?
I can take a stab. So what we do at Digital Impact Square is we are first of all a philanthropic organization. We offer pre-incubation, idea stage, concept stage support to those, I would say, young innovators and entrepreneurs, even before they even set up a company. If they have an idea or a concept, they have a problem that they are passionate about addressing, or even they have a keen interest to work on a particular challenge area, a domain called, say, agriculture and saving lives or something like that. They have a passion to work in that area. What we would do is we would find a challenge for them to work in, or they can come to us with a challenge statement and say, this is the challenge that we are looking to work on. Or there could be slightly more advanced where they have further gone down the line and said, not only a challenge area, but we also have some elements of the solution that we have figured out. And here is our rough idea on what it is. So all of these stages are more than welcome. Anybody who is pre-revenue to apply. And we would then take them through a period of about 12 to 18 months of journey without equity. In fact, we will also pay a small stipend, seed investment for the company to start off their operations. The goal is here to get those startups at the very early stage where they have the highest risk of failure, and then give them access to world-class infrastructure, ecosystems, any development sector, anywhere in the country, whether it is public sector, private sector, any support that the team needs to go and do a pilot to understand the ecosystem. If I have to, for example, if it is infant mortality or maternal mortality, or if it is farmer suicides, any area of development sector that is of interest, education, that is of interest to the founder, and we would like them to go and immerse themselves, understand what the problem is, we can provide them access. If it is business modeling, if it is understanding how value is being delivered, how to design experiences, how to work with people, what kind of surveys to design, how to conduct your primary and secondary research, all that process understanding is all imparted to them in the first 3-4 months, so that the teams go on the field, do their own discovery and understand what problems can be solved. And one of the very unique programs in the country to do this for such a duration between 12 to 18 months, and being done at that scale across the at least seven different development sector themes. So this is something that we offer, but we are also very selective, as you can imagine. We get hundreds of applications each year. We select less than 10% of our applicants. It's also because we are a very high touch, very extremely engaged. So we are a very lean team. We are about 7 or 8 of us in the core team, and each one of the teams gets a dedicated mentor like myself, a coach like myself, and we handhold each team throughout their 12 to 18 months journey.
From our side, normally, what kind of values that we would like to bring to this ecosystem is basically, one is providing a pre-incubation session, which is very, very targeted at different areas to help the incubators to understand the kind of incubates that they want to bring into the system. That's one of those areas that we work closely. And the second area that we work on is basically in the area of user experience. That's our core expertise lies in that. We provide critical inputs to startups and even for startups at scale on that particular area of user experience, which is where a lot of startups are failing in the market. So that is one of those areas that we work on. The third area that we work is commercialization or go to markets. So we are active in about 120 countries where we help startups to take their products into the market, either in the form of getting them corporates who are interested to take their product or investments which can come into that startup to scale their journey upwards. And the other area that we also are working very closely in Latin America and Australia is basically trying to see how we can bring in incubators and startups from that side of the world to partner and develop new products which can be used by both the markets. So these are some of those values that we are trying to bring in along with the innovation aspect that we are working on.
Very interesting. Jatin.
So we host engaging startup growth meetups in 25 cities in 15 countries. So both in person and online. Luckily, we are starting our in-person meetups actually. So for tomorrow, we have in-person meetups happening in Bangalore, Gurugram, Ahmedabad on Saturday, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad. So if you happen to be in that city, of course, with vaccinated folks, you can be part of that. So a lot of these meetups work as a lightweight knowledge sharing, networking opportunities. So if you're new to the network or a community, this becomes a good starting point. And of course, once you go there, you build relationship with certain set of people and they would go much deeper. So we work as a more of a horizontal play that a lot of people from all kinds of background, they be part of a lot of things that we do. And in turn, they'll form a lot of their smaller set of networks. Then people who are really interested in, say, fintech or social impact, they'll try to build those relationships with the other people. One of the pandemic effect that happened and we are starting is Startup Sports Network. So one of the thing I realized that, we want to do a lot of things that people remain very happy. So what I realized, and anyways, I was a big sports fan. So we are starting this Startup Sports Network where, we would engage people, not just over meetups, but through sports also. So wherever we have these chapters, we are setting up a sports ones also. So they are very interesting and fun, and it also helps you build relationship with other people that not necessarily you already knew of. So it becomes an interesting way.
Interesting. I think you took that all work and no play very seriously.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's interesting, and thank you for all your insights. So folks on the call and others watching us live, this is how you can reach out to all of them. Just search them on LinkedIn or their websites, and I'm sure all of them are helpful, will be helpful to you. And that brings me to the closure of the panel. We are bang on time actually. Anupam, basically we have to close by 4:40 and it's exactly there. So Anupam, over to you to take it forward. Anupam, you are on mute. Anupam, Apurva, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Hi, everyone. And thank you, Abhijit. Thank you to Jatin, Bhanu, Anand. Thank you, for making time for this. And thanks to all the participants for hearing, and thanks to the people who are watching us live. So this is the, we are closing this day 1 here only, and we'll be moving towards day 2 from 20th November, where we'll be hearing more startups like the top 30 cohort pitching. On 20th November, we have agri and edtech based startups pitching their ideas. Then followed by 23rd, where healthcare and hardware startups would be pitching. Then we have on 25th, we have livelihood and environment based startups would be there to pitch their idea. So please stay tuned, watch us live, participate in the Zoom meetings as well. And yes, thanks a lot. So we can close it here, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank
nice
you so
meeting.
much.
Thank you.
Anand and
Thank you,
Jatin.
guys.
Thank you.
Good meeting you, Jatin and Bhanu.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Abhijit, try to do